yeah. Brassy girls everywhere, titty ass hands in the air, somebody over here, shaking for the man of the year. Man of the year, man of the bounce. Brassy girls everywhere.
Hey guys, welcome to the Week 6 LEG newsletter. Today I have Sebastian Sabado.
Hey.
And Robert Wynn, of course. We're going to jump right into Week 5's Game of the Week, which was our first shit bowl of the year. This was two teams that went in with a combined 1 win so far this season, and also the rematch to the 2013 ISAC Bowl. These teams were the Dirty Dew and the San Diego Pounders. The San Diego Pounders are 1-3 coming in. Dirty Dew is 0-2-2. Both teams had some very interesting matchups between each other. But Nick's highest scorer was Brian Quick, who had 5 receptions, 87 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns off of free agency. Good job, Nick. Willie had 288 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick for Phillip Rivers, who got him 27 fantasy points. Total yardage for Nick was 867 versus Willie's 1,002 yards. Nick also lost in the categories of touchdowns, 3-6 against Willie. Why is it after these stats, Nick was still able to make a comeback?
Basically, easily comparison is Will's strong quarterback play was the only accountable factor for his points. Outside of that, DeMarco Murray and Des Bryant, handful of points there. Versus Nick's, basically Ben Tate, Vincent Jackson, who we haven't heard about for a while, and Brian Quick are major contributors. The biggest factor was a player that's not even on his team. I should say player. It's the defense, the special teams of the Bengals, who was on Willie's team, and he was basically the best player for Nick, which made it so a miraculous comeback.
Yes.
At the end of Sunday night, he had 0 players left and had a projection of 102 points, which is his final score. Willie had a projection of 108, I believe. And after starting the defense, he lost -5 points, and that was basically made the game end. And not in a win or a loss for either team, but another tie.
Exactly. My story to it was 2:30 in the morning. Just got up, getting ready to go back to bed. Last thing I remember is check for recalculations. And sure enough, the recalculation gods kick in and made another tie in our league. Unbelievable. And also another tie that happened this week was the first week of outer league matchups throughout the league. Both divisions went 2-2-1 thanks to Nick and Willie. So speaking of comebacks, we do have some other comebacks that went on this week. 2 of those comebacks, one of them he had to deal with, and that was Sebastian up against Alec. Alec had no more players at Monday night. Sebastian had Kirk Cousins, Marshawn Lynch, and Seattle's defense, all combined for 44 fantasy points. Sebastian was down 74-101 before Monday night started, and he ended up winning 118-101.
What could I say?
Yeah, pretty good comeback. I kind of saw it coming, though. I mean, you can't Marshawn Lynch, Kirk Cousins. That's a lot of offense on Monday night. It's Monday night. Everyone wants those players going for it. What was the other comeback we had here?
One of them that I had to mention was the Mesa comeback. Basically, the final score was 153-151. Before that, I believe the score was 148-115. The biggest factor was Russell Wilson's 38-point performance, where he had 120 rushing yards,
impressive.
A touchdown, and 2 passing touchdowns.
Hey, and who saw those 3 touchdowns that Percy Harvin scored and got taken back for a flag each time? I know who saw him. Roger saw him, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Talking about Mesa is actually our transaction of the week.
Let me go ahead and wrap that one up, too, and finish my point with that. Basically, Mesa, coming into the preseason, he was probably like the 9th out of the worst team. But after making some serious transactions, which involved trading away, I believe that was Geno Smith, Matt Carnesada, and Jimmy Graham to Leaper for Newton, Cobb, Owen Daniels, and Zach Stacy. Then later trading away Newton, Stacy, and Michael Jennings to Robert for Emmanuel Sanders, Brian Hoyer, and Ingram.
Yeah.
That, to wrap it up, basically was the reason why Mesa won. Without those players, he would have lost.
What is that, 2-0 so far since making moves?
Oh, that's a great point that Alec also brought up. He encouraged more trading, Mesa listened, and look at now, he's 2-0.
Good job, Alec. Good job.
No, but at the other spectrum, look at people who've been trading this whole time, like Nick, and he hasn't won a single game yet, and his team is 0-2-3 now. So that's just some food for thought right there.
Man. All right. Well, a transaction I did want to bring up was somebody I spoke to earlier this week before Sunday even happened, and that was Mr. David Jimenez of the Sweaty Balls. David Jimenez picked up, he picked up Andre Williams, a rookie running back for the Giants, after he traded Rashard Jennings to Roger. Rashard Jennings gets a sprained MCL, is going to be out for a few weeks. Andre Williams looked good. He had 13 fantasy points, a touchdown, 60 points, or 60 rushing yards. Everybody wanted to pick him up on free agency, including Sebastian.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize this until hours ago, despite having Texas and Robert telling me about it. It just slipped my mind. That was one of those things. It was unsuspected.
David said he really felt good. Actually, he says, quote, "I feel like I got a good pickup off the waiver wire." Well, those were David's
That
words.
sounds like something David would say.
Exactly. So, talking about David and Mesa, this reminds me, we got some LEG rumors going around now, and
this is the good stuff.
yeah, one of the biggest rumors going on right now. It's kind of hot. Two of the quietest guys in our league, Luis Meza of the Your Mother Should Have Swallowed You, and David Jimenez, they want to fight.
That's true.
A fight.
A silent war, basically.
A fight. And they're really quiet, but this is what happened. There was a possible three-way trade going on, a trade that I had with Meza earlier this week with Cam Newton and so-so. But Meza did not want to drop Greg Jennings, so he wanted a third team to be a suitor for Greg Jennings. We went to David. We asked David. David said, "No, I have no interest in Greg Jennings. He should be a free agent." Meza laughed it off sarcastically, but David knew what that meant. Basically, text after text, of me translating for the both of them. They want to fight. David even says here, while David's in Texas for work, he says, "Tell him to fly to Texas, then we'll fight."
Oh, man.
Meza was not able to go to Texas until yesterday, so Meza's in Texas now, and David came back home on Monday.
Miscommunication.
Yes,
Big
so just tune
miscommunication.
in. It's gonna be some time before they really fight. Another rumor.
Oh, let's get into this one. This one we have from a very, very, very reliable source that the whole Dom myth about him being in Florida is false. And guess who this very reliable source is, who lives houses down from Dom himself? Josh Ornelas. That's right. Josh Ornelas has said to seeing Dom within the last week, roaming the Sorensen area. If that's not a rumor that people should be stirred about, then I don't know what would be.
Yeah, Josh Ornelas. If he said it, don't forget it. Is that how it goes?
Something
right?
like that.
Okay, all right. So speaking of these rumors here, another thing about Josh. Let me tell you something about this guy. He's given us a lot of information here, a lot, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows how. Fuck. I think a sprain,
right,
a high finger
sprain?
sprain. Yeah, dude, I need this shit to heal
You're
fast.
done. You can't do no more.
I need it to heal
no more
fast. What do I
newsletters.
do?
Break it, dude. You gotta break that.
Break it?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, that's just a rumor, right?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. That's just the LEG rumor.
LEG
Yeah,
rumors.
I wonder who made that one up.
Yeah.
To break your stuff. Okay, so let's talk about the pick'ems. The pick'ems.
Let's get to the meat of it right here.
Now we have Dom, Mr. McGiblets, playing against the Sweaty Balls this week. Who do you pick for that one?
This is a battle between two streaky teams. I'm going with David, streaky of streaks, and he got Dalton, Darren Sproles, Golden Tate, James Jones, all streaky players, and this is going to be the week for him to outscore Dom.
You know what? I do like what Sebastian says, and David has done some pretty good research and gambles along with Leaper this week, and make some good points. But unfortunately, David has the least amount of points, which means he's averaging the least amount of points with 503 this so far. And then Dom's at home, right?
That's right.
Yeah, that's what Dom's doing. Dom's at home. He's studying hard. I got to go with the McGiblets. What do you think about the San Diego?
Still a rumor at this point. It
Yeah.
hasn't been confirmed.
Oh, yeah. San Diego Pounders at the Washington, D.C. Sentinels. Am I saying that right?
Sentinels?
Centennials? Yeah, I don't.
There we go, Centennials.
Okay.
All right, easy pick for me. I'm going with Alec. His strong QBs. He has number 1 and number 3 scoring quarterback. Solid wide receiving core, and LaShawn McCoy is bound to get a touchdown this week, at least a touchdown.
Okay, that's interesting. I go with the San Diego Pounders just because he needs to catch up. He is our last champ. Or last week he did tie though. That's crazy.
Another tie.
Yeah, but he is our last champ. So you know what I don't know. I think he does something this week. Now what do you think about your mother should have swallowed you at the Los Angeles 40-ounce pounders?
I wouldn't be lying if I saying I'm gonna win that one. I hope I win that one. I'm going for
Oh.
myself on that one.
Wow.
I'm not beating around the bush here.
Okay.
That's my honest opinion.
Okay. And so what I think about that is I actually have to go with the 40-ounce pounders. Mesa, you're doing a good job. 2-0 since you started doing stuff. That's what you need to do in this league, like Alex says.
He's silently building a good team for the trades.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
He's a smart man. But Mesa's receivers, I really do like them. They feel like they've increased a lot. He has Cobb, Jeffrey, and then he has Sanders and Welker. Manny's going to throw to one of those guys, obviously. Sebastian here, he has Green, Macklin. He has some gambles. Deshaun Jackson did pretty good last week as well. But I feel like the running back game is just too different for Sebastian not to win. I think the only running back I think of Mesa is Gore right now. Who else do you have? Do you know?
He has Fred Jackson.
Fred
He
Jackson.
got
Yeah.
Frank Gore.
This
Ingram.
guy has Bell, Lynch.
I got two of the top 3 running backs, and early in the season, running back play is a big factor because they're still healthy. It'll be a different story later on in the season, but for now, you gotta go with the strong running backs.
I was burping last week. Was I burping?
No, that's me, man.
Oh, now it's you. Okay. All right, and then
I don't know what's wrong with me.
yeah. So the next game right here we have is the Dirtbags at the Dirty Do. Now, who do you like in this match right here?
I'm going with the Dirtbags, dude. Motherfucking Dirtbags right here.
Okay.
He's quietly building a solid team, even though he's underrated himself.
Mhm.
If you hold on to some of those players, later off, it'll pay off.
Okay, yeah, and I'm actually going with the Dirtbags as well because back to the points scored and all that, it does matter a lot in this league. Unfortunately, sometimes the points allowed against you is something you can't control, but Nick, he's averaging
Fantasy defense.
103.4. Yeah, 103.4 points a game. And yeah, his best strategy right now is to get at your defense and make him get negative points. That's what he's good at somehow. We don't know how he did it. He has inside people. Calvin Johnson, Monte Ball, not there for a while. I don't know what's going on with him. Yeah.
We don't know if he's ever going to show up this season. He hasn't been there at all since week 1.
Well, let's get into our game of the week here.
All right, game of the week. This was a toss-up. Me and Robert probably had different opinions on what it should be, but eventually I talked him into doing game of the week. James Leaper's Mos Queso versus Robert Wynn's Chili Cheese Dogs or Chile Cheese Dogs. We don't know.
Chile. Yeah.
But basically, this would be a matchup between questionable secondary positions in every category. Leaper has Tom Brady, question mark, with Austin Davis. He has a strong running back in Matt Forte, but 2 question marks with Ronnie Hillman, which he just picked up off the waiver wire, and also Ellington, who has shown that he can produce points, but it's still up in the air.
Ronnie Hillman all day, man.
That's what I'm saying, too.
Yeah.
But he does have solid receivers in Cruz, Julio Jones, and he has Gronk in as his tight end, which is only his second best tight end compared to Graham, who's on a bye. Basically up against Aaron Rodgers, Cam Newton, and Morris Lacy and Doug Martin. And you have less question marks and more important positions, so that's why I'm giving the victory to Robert Wynn and the game of the week victory to Robert Wynn. That's due to the quarterback play and the underrated running backs.
Nice. Okay. Well, unfortunately, I got to pull the whole Alec, and I got to go with Mos Queso. I got to go against myself. That's what Alec does. It works for him, I guess. But ESPN projects this 122 to 138 in Mos Queso's favor. I think the interesting matchup between us would be to watch Alfred Morris, Mr. President, who did not show up last week for Monday Night Football. It's all good. I didn't really need him that bad. But Morris versus Andre Ellington, somebody that James has talked to me a lot about recently. He made a big trade for. He has a lot of faith in this guy. And you know what? Even though most of his work was done off of receptions last week, he still looked pretty sick to watch. I mean, you know.
Yeah, hybrid running backs don't usually produce week in, week out.
Damn, hating. This guy's hating, man. I'm just kidding. But anyways, that's the matchup. They also play against each other, Redskins versus Cardinals this weekend. Even though James does not have Drew Brees and Jimmy Graham, he can do it without Drew Brees, I believe. Jimmy Graham, I mean, he hasn't been doing much, so it's not really that much of a difference.
And it's not like he doesn't have anyone better to replace him. Gronk can even outscore Jimmy Graham this week and maybe even for the season.
Mm-hmm.
He's always going to outscore him this week.
And the main reason why I pick Mos Queso is because I'm 3-0 at home, but unfortunately I'm 0-2 away. I do not know how to play away, obviously.
Tough.
Yeah,
it's a
tough.
tough environment.
It is. So with that, would you like to add anything?
That's about it. Unless I'm forgetting something.
I don't think you forget anything, man.
Oh
All
yeah.
right. Well, good luck, gentlemen, and cheers.
Cheers.